When a woman senses that you've lost interest, something shifts within her. Women are naturally sensitive to the attention and energy they receive, especially from a man they care about, or someone who once showed real interest. It's not just about emotions, it's also about the subtle balance of power in the relationship. When you unexpectedly pull back, it disrupts that balance, leaving her to question her role in your life. This reaction isn't random. It's tied to both psychology and evolutionary instincts. When a man withdraws, intentionally or not, the dynamic flips completely. She goes from feeling comfortable and desired to feeling uncertain and vulnerable. You see, many women, whether consciously or not, seek validation from the men who pursued them. When that validation disappears, it can spark confusion, self-doubt, and even a competitive drive. That's why you might notice her suddenly reaching out more, trying to reconnect, or just showing up in places where she knows you might be. It's not just about missing your attention, it's about trying to regain the control and sense of security she felt when you were fully present. By understanding this reaction, you gain a powerful advantage. Learning how to hold back in a respectful and grounded way allows you to reclaim your place in the dynamic. High-value men operate from a place of abundance, not neediness, and that energy naturally commands respect. This isn't about playing mind games. It's about recognizing your own worth and showing that you're not easily swayed or desperate for approval. Women instinctively respect and are drawn to this kind of presence. In today's video, I'll explain the key signs that show she's noticed your shift in interest, as well as how you can navigate this situation with confidence and clarity. Mastering this dynamic won't just transform your dating life, it will boost your confidence in all your relationships. Let's get into it. 1. She becomes more attentive. One of the first things you'll notice when a woman realizes you've lost interest is a sudden shift in her behavior. She becomes more attentive, more present in your life. Women are incredibly attuned to subtle changes in energy. The moment she senses you pulling back, it creates a void that she instinctively feels the need to fill. This shift often triggers her competitive instincts, especially if she suspects other women might now have your attention. Suddenly, she'll start paying closer attention to everything you say and do, things she may have previously overlooked. You might notice her reaching out more often, initiating conversations, and asking about your day. You could start receiving unexpected compliments or see her laughing at jokes she used to brush off. She might also begin interacting more actively with your social media posts. These changes aren't random. They're deliberate actions meant to re-establish a connection and recapture your attention. From her perspective, she's trying to regain a sense of control and importance in your life. Now, here's where many men slip up. They respond too quickly. It's easy to get swept up in her newfound enthusiasm. You might feel tempted to jump right back into the dynamic you had before, but doing so can undo the power shift you've just created. If you react too eagerly, you risk falling back into her frame of influence. Instead, stay steady and grounded. Focus on your own priorities and let her come to you naturally. Yes, respond to her with confidence, but don't over-invest in her sudden attention. For example, if she's suddenly showing an interest in your hobbies or making plans she knows you'll enjoy, recognize it for what it is. Her way of signaling that she values your interests and wants to reconnect. Acknowledge her efforts, but don't lose sight of your goals. You need to maintain your frame. Staying calm and composed reinforces that you're in control of the situation, not someone who can be easily swayed by a few compliments or extra attention. You might also notice signs of nervousness in her behavior. She may become more eager to please, asking questions like, "Are you upset?" or "Did something change between us?" These subtle cues indicate that she's feeling unsettled and is trying to gauge where she stands with you. While it can be flattering to see her in this vulnerable state, you have to handle it wisely. Acting dismissive or arrogant can backfire, turning her attentiveness into resentment. Instead, keep your interactions measured and purposeful. Show that you appreciate her attention, but make it clear, without directly saying it, that your time and energy are valuable. You're not going to rush to reassure someone who only now realizes they might lose you. This approach reinforces your position as a high-value man. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't need external validation to feel confident. By staying composed, you demonstrate that her increased attention is a response to your strength, not something you chased after. Mastering this balance is crucial. If you handle her newfound attentiveness correctly, you'll maintain control of the dynamic, keeping her intrigued while subtly demonstrating your worth. It's a delicate dance, but when done right, it sets the tone for how things move forward. 2. She tests your resolve. When a woman senses you've pulled away, don't be surprised if she starts testing your resolve. Women are naturally drawn to men who are steady and confident, but when that energy suddenly shifts, her instincts kick in. She wants to know, is this real? Is he truly backing off? Or is this just a tactic? These tests aren't about playing games. They're her way of measuring your emotional strength and self-control. How you respond will determine whether she respects you or sees you as someone who can be easily manipulated. One of the most common tests, she'll act cold or distant. It's like a mirror. If you've pulled back, she may reflect that behavior to see how you'll react. This move is designed to provoke a response, to push you into chasing her. And many men fall for it. They panic, rush to reassure her, or try to win her back by doubling their efforts. When that happens, the power dynamic flips right back in her favor, undoing any progress you've made. But here's the key: don't take the bait. If she starts acting distant, don't chase her. Instead, stay calm and composed. Match her energy with quiet confidence. This doesn't mean being rude or completely aloof. Just maintain a calm indifference. Your lack of reaction sends a clear message. I'm not playing games. My value doesn't depend on your attention. This often makes her rethink her approach, and more times than not, she'll drop the cold act and start reaching out to you again. Another common test? She tries to make you jealous. Maybe she casually mentions other men, posts pictures designed to get your attention, or subtly hints at her options. The goal here is simple: spark insecurity in you and push you to reassert your interest in her. It's a trap that many men walk straight into. They get emotional, try to confront her, or make a big deal out of it. But reacting this way only gives her control. Instead, stay unfazed. A man who doesn't get rattled by these provocations demonstrates something rare and powerful: confidence and emotional maturity. And let's be real, those qualities are deeply attractive. Now, she might also test you in other ways, maybe by becoming more demanding, more critical, or even picking fights over small things. The goal? To see if she can break your composure and pull you back into her frame of control. Don't let it happen. If she starts pushing your boundaries or provoking unnecessary arguments, stay cool. Avoid over-explaining yourself or engaging in heated debates. Instead, Give clear, concise responses that show you're in control. You're not here to prove yourself or get dragged into emotional chaos. Understanding the psychology behind these tests is essential. Women respect men who can hold their ground under pressure. When you stay consistent and composed, you reinforce value in her eyes. Every test is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your independence and self-worth. The more you show that you won't buckle under pressure, the more she'll respect and pursue you. By maintaining your boundaries and emotional stability, you position yourself as a man who operates on his own terms. And trust me, there's nothing more attractive than that. 3. She becomes emotionally unpredictable. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the biggest shifts you'll notice is her sudden emotional unpredictability. This happens because your withdrawal disrupts her sense of control and emotional balance. Women are naturally attuned to the emotional dynamics in relationships, and when that stability feels threatened, it creates internal conflict. This often shows up as mood swings, mixed signals, or even dramatic behavior. It's her way of processing the situation and, more importantly, trying to regain control of the connection. At first, she might become extra warm and affectionate. You'll notice her giving you more compliments, expressing how much she values you, or going out of her way to be sweet and attentive. These moments are deliberate. She's hoping that by being kind and engaging, she can reignite your interest. But if that doesn't work, things can take a sharp turn. Suddenly, that sweetness may give way to frustration, irritation, or even anger. She might criticize you over small things, start arguments out of nowhere, or accuse you of not caring anymore. This behavior isn't random. It's her testing you. She wants to see if these emotional swings will provoke a reaction. Many men fall into this trap by either trying to calm her down or defending themselves, which only hands the power back to her. Here's where you need to take control. Stay calm and detached. Don't get caught up in her emotional storm. Let her emotions run their course without being pulled into unnecessary drama. Your ability to remain composed sends a strong message that you're not easily shaken. This response keeps you in control of the situation. Another element of her emotional unpredictability is mixed signals. One moment, she might be clingy and overly invested, texting or calling more frequently. The next, she could become distant and cold, leaving you confused. But there's a reason behind this. She's testing whether you'll chase her when she pulls away, or double your efforts when she suddenly acts needy. Understanding this pattern gives you the upper hand. Instead of trying to analyze every signal, focus on maintaining your own emotional stability. Mixed signals lose their power when you refuse to be affected by them. By staying grounded, you show that you're not at the mercy of her changing moods. In some cases, this unpredictability may escalate into attention-seeking behavior. She might post vague or cryptic messages on social media, flaunt her social life, or create situations designed to make you feel like you're missing out. This is another tactic to pull your focus back onto her, to make you wonder what she's up to. But here's the key: don't react. When you stay unbothered by her attempts to provoke you, you send a powerful message. You're showing her that your value isn't tied to her approval or attention. A man who maintains emotional discipline communicates that he operates from a place of inner strength. Ultimately, her emotional unpredictability is a response to the discomfort caused by your withdrawal. She's trying to regain the upper hand in the relationship dynamic. But by remaining calm, grounded, and emotionally disciplined, you demonstrate that her tactics don't affect you. This reinforces your value and keeps you firmly in control. She'll realize that she has to earn your attention. It's not something you're going to give away freely. 4. She tries to reignite your interest. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she often changes her approach, working to rekindle your desire. This isn't just random. It comes from her need to reclaim the attention and validation she feels slipping away. If she senses your focus has shifted elsewhere, her instinct is to re-establish her influence over you by becoming more appealing and engaging. This phase is key because now she's putting in effort to prove her worth in your eyes. A noticeable shift from when she may have taken your interest for granted. One of the first tactics she might use is enhancing her physical appearance. Women understand how visual men are, so when she feels you've checked out, she'll likely try to make herself look more attractive in your eyes. You might notice her dressing more provocatively, trying a new hairstyle, or experimenting with makeup. She may even subtly showcase her best features in ways that are hard to ignore. If she's suddenly putting in more effort to look her best whenever you're around, it's a sign she's trying to grab your attention. But it's not just about looks. She'll likely shift her demeanor too. You might see her becoming more playful, agreeable, or flirtatious. She'll emphasize the qualities that drew you to her in the first place, maybe laughing at your jokes more, initiating fun conversations, or reminiscing about special moments you've shared. This is her way of reigniting the spark, of reminding you what made the connection exciting in the first place. While this can feel flattering, you need to stay composed. A high-value man doesn't immediately fold at the first sign of renewed interest. Instead, he evaluates whether her effort is genuine or just a reaction to losing control of the dynamic. Another common move she might make is finding ways to put herself back on your radar. She could cross paths with you by chance, become more active on social media, or appear in places where she knows you'll be. These actions aren't accidental, they're calculated. She's subtly saying, "Hey, remember me?" She wants to remind you of her presence and make you think about what you might be missing. Additionally, she might start aligning her behavior with your preferences. Maybe you mentioned a hobby, a favorite activity, or a certain type of person you admire. Suddenly, she may start embodying those qualities. On the surface, this shows she's willing to put in effort, which can be a positive sign. But it's also a subtle test of your resolve. Are you going to immediately reward this behavior, or will you observe to see if it's a lasting change? Here's the key. Don't rush back into old patterns of chasing or over-investing. It's crucial that you stay steady and grounded. Let her work to rebuild the connection, but on your terms. By doing this, you maintain control of the dynamic and ensure that her renewed interest isn't just a temporary reaction. A high-value man understands that genuine connection is built on mutual respect and effort, not her short-term need to reclaim control. Ultimately, her efforts to reignite your interest are a response to the strength and independence you've shown by pulling back. When you maintain your frame and self-respect, you reinforce your value. And if the connection does reignite, it'll be built on something solid, not fleeting emotional reactions. 5. She plays mind games. When a woman senses that you've lost interest, one of her more complex reactions might be to play mind games. These tactics are designed to confuse you, provoke emotional reactions, and regain control of the dynamic. It's her way of testing your emotional discipline and patience, often leaving men second-guessing their decisions. If you can recognize and navigate these games confidently, you'll avoid falling into her traps and maintain your position of strength. One common mind game she might use is creating emotional ambiguity. She'll switch between acting like she's over you and dropping hints that she still cares. For example, she might post vague, cryptic messages on social media, casually mention dating someone else, or act indifferent in person while sending you late-night texts that suggest the opposite. The goal: to confuse you, make you wonder where you stand, and trigger you to seek clarity. If you start chasing her for answers, the power dynamic shifts right back in her favor. The key here is to not take the bait. Don't look for reassurance. Let her inconsistency speak for itself while you maintain your emotional detachment. The less you react, the more you signal that you're in control of your emotions and decisions. Another tactic she might use is provoking jealousy. She could casually mention other men, highlight her social activities, or go out of her way to show she's having a good time without you. None of this is accidental. It's meant to get under your skin and make you feel threatened. If she can provoke an emotional reaction, it validates that she still has power over your feelings, even after you've pulled away. But the best response to this is calm indifference. A high-value man doesn't get rattled by these provocations. By staying cool and unbothered, you demonstrate confidence and emotional maturity, which often frustrates her attempts to destabilize you. She might also try to manipulate your sense of guilt or obligation. This could look like reminding you of the things you've shared, pointing out how much effort she's put into the relationship, or playing the victim to appeal to your emotions. Her goal is to make you question your decision to pull back. It's natural to feel some compassion, but be careful not to let guilt dictate your actions. If you start responding out of obligation rather than genuine interest, you weaken your position and hand her control. In more extreme cases, she might test your resolve with direct manipulation. For example, threatening to walk away entirely. Often, this is just a bluff to see if you'll break and beg for her attention. If you give in, she knows your withdrawal was never serious, and she regains full control of the situation. The right move? Call her bluff. A man who can let her walk away if necessary communicates unshakable self-worth. This doesn't mean you have to be cold or uncaring. It's about showing that your value doesn't hinge on her presence or approval. The truth is, mind games are designed to provoke emotional reactions. Your greatest weapon is emotional control. The moment you react impulsively, you lose the upper hand. Instead, focus on staying clear-headed, patient, and grounded in your personal boundaries. When you don't play into her tactics, you reinforce your value. By staying calm and consistent, you show her that her games won't work. This keeps her guessing and subtly flips the power dynamic in your favor. A woman will always respect a man who can see through her strategies and remain unaffected. 6. She attempts to reassert dominance. When a woman notices you've lost interest, she may respond by trying to reassert dominance in the relationship dynamic. This reaction is a defense mechanism driven by her desire to regain control. She senses that the balance of power has shifted and wants to prove that she's still steering the relationship. This phase can play out subtly or overtly, and it's important that you recognize these behaviors and respond with steady, calm confidence. One of the ways she might try to reassert dominance is by becoming dismissive or condescending. She may attempt to downplay your value, mock your choices, or subtly highlight her other options to undermine your self-assurance. For example, she might say things like, "You've been acting different lately. It's not as attractive as you think," or casually mention how other men are interested in her without being direct. These comments are designed to trigger insecurity, making you question yourself and seek her validation again. The worst mistake you can make here is taking the bait. Don't argue or defend yourself. This only gives her more power. Instead, stay calm and let her words fall flat. When you refuse to react emotionally to these tactics, you demonstrate inner strength and self-worth. She might also attempt to control the communication dynamic. This can involve pulling back on her availability, taking longer to respond to your messages, cancelling plans at the last minute, or acting as if she's too busy to engage with you. The message she's trying to send is that she's still in control of how and when you interact. Many men respond to this by chasing harder, trying to re-establish the connection on her terms. But you need to resist this urge. Instead of chasing, mirror her behavior. Prioritize your time, focus on your own schedule, and stay indifferent to her attempts to control the interaction. This shows that you're not someone who can be easily manipulated. Another way she might try to dominate is through criticism. She could start pointing out flaws she never mentioned before, or question your decisions and actions. You might hear comments like, "I don't understand why you're doing this. It's not who I thought you were," or critiques of your goals and lifestyle. Understand that this isn't genuine feedback. It's an attempt to plant doubt and destabilize your confidence. The key is to stand firm, maintain your composure, and stay true to your path. Confidence in your own decisions is the most effective response to her criticisms. When you remain grounded, she'll see that her negative comments have no impact on you. On a more social level, she may also try to project independence and social value. She might post pictures with friends, attend events without telling you, or highlight how great her life is without your attention. These actions are designed to provoke a reaction. She wants you to feel like you're missing out. The correct response: focus on your own life. Invest in your goals, work on your growth, and continue improving yourself. Show that her actions have no effect on your progress. A high-value man doesn't get sidetracked by such displays. By staying focused, you reinforce that you're in control of your life, and no external provocations can derail you. Ultimately, her attempts to reassert dominance stem from discomfort at losing control, but by maintaining your frame, staying emotionally detached from her provocations, and focusing on your priorities, you send a powerful message. You're not a man who can be manipulated or dominated. A calm, steady demeanor will always outlast her attempts to control the dynamic. 7. She pursues you more aggressively. When a woman realizes that you've genuinely lost interest in her, she may respond by pursuing you more actively and persistently. This shift often comes from a mix of curiosity, frustration, and fear. Fear of losing someone she values. Women are naturally drawn to what feels scarce or unattainable. So, when your actions show her that she no longer has the same hold on you, it triggers her competitive instincts. At this stage, her pursuit becomes more deliberate and sometimes even intense. One of the most obvious signs of this change is that she starts initiating contact more frequently. If she used to wait for you to text or call first, that's likely to change. Suddenly, she's the one reaching out, checking in with you for no apparent reason, sending random messages, or commenting more often on your social media posts. These aren't casual acts. They're calculated attempts to stay on your radar and re-establish a connection. The key here is to stay measured in your responses. Don't rush to reciprocate her enthusiasm. Instead, maintain a calm and slightly distant approach. This keeps the power dynamic in your favor and prevents you from slipping back into old patterns. Another tactic you might notice is that her intentions become more obvious. If she once played hard to get or maintained a sense of mystery, that behavior may fade. Now, she might openly express her desire to spend time with you or reminisce about your shared experiences. She could say things like, "I miss how things used to be," or "We always had such a great time together." While this might feel flattering, be mindful of her motivations. Her increased effort is a reaction to your change in behavior. Don't immediately reward her pursuit by jumping back into the dynamic you had before. Instead, let her actions prove her intentions over time. Patience is key here. You may also notice that she becomes more competitive, especially if she suspects there might be other women in your life. In response, she'll likely step up her efforts to stand out. She might go out of her way to impress you, showcasing her best qualities, offering support, or subtly positioning herself as your most valuable option. For example, she might highlight how well she understands you compared to others, or emphasize the unique connection you share. Your best response? Acknowledge her efforts without giving up control. Show appreciation, but don't let her regain full control of the dynamic. Stay grounded and consistent. Another clear sign of her increased pursuit is her sudden availability. If she used to play games with her time, making you wait for her attention, or being difficult to schedule plans with, she may now become more flexible and eager to meet up. You'll see her prioritize spending time with you over other commitments, hoping to reignite the spark that initially attracted you. While it's fine to accept some of these efforts, stay selective. A high-value man doesn't rearrange his life just because someone starts showing more interest. Keep focusing on your goals and priorities. This reinforces the message that your attention isn't given away freely. It has to be earned. Ultimately, her aggressive pursuit is a direct reaction to your decision to pull back and focus on your own value. By staying grounded and not rushing to meet her halfway, you demonstrate strength and self-respect. This keeps her invested and ensures that any renewed connection happens on your terms, not hers. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, her reactions often reveal the shifting power dynamics in the relationship. These can range from emotional unpredictability and subtle mind games to a more aggressive pursuit of your attention. Each move is a way for her to test your resolve and try to regain control. As a man, your priority should be to maintain emotional discipline and self-respect. Don't get pulled into impulsive reactions or lose sight of your goals. By staying grounded and composed, you demonstrate your value, showing that you cannot be easily swayed or manipulated. The key is consistency. Let her actions, not her words, reveal her true intentions. When you remain steady and in control, you keep the narrative in your hands and reinforce your position of strength.